Hey guys, today's to the unboxing and overview of the Asus Zenbook Duo 14. This is the new 2021 model that just came out a few months ago, and it's the UX482 is the model number. So I did a review on the previous model as well, which is the UX481. That was last year's model. And this model adds an upgrade to the processor to the 11th generation Intel Core i7, and also upgrades the secondary screen a little bit too, which you shall see in a minute. So let's go ahead with the unboxing first. Oh yeah, so Asus also included a laptop sleeve in the package, which is pretty nice. Not part of this box, but in part of the outer box packaging. But this is a pretty nice laptop sleeve. It's looks pretty nice. It feels more like vinyl or something similar to vinyl, so I can't exactly say what the material is, but it feels pretty nice. Looks pretty premium. So yeah, it's very generous of Asus to include a laptop sleeve in the box as well, or as part of the packaging. So yeah, very, very nice. So this is a nice premium vinyl type of laptop sleeve that they include with it. And then the box itself, let's open it up. And Asus always makes some pretty nice boxes in my opinion, and the Zenbook line is their premium line of Ultrabooks, right? It's not the gaming focused line, that's the ROG line, but I always find the Ultrabooks line, especially the Zenbook line, which is their premium line, it always feels pretty nice, looks pretty nice. I really like the aesthetic that Asus puts on its premium Ultrabook lineup, compared to like Acer, for example, or Lenovo. I feel like those companies don't put as much attention to detail on the aesthetics necessarily of their laptops, or Gigabyte even, right? Because if you look at how their laptops look like, I feel like Asus does a really good job of making their laptops look really, really premium, right? I think the only other company that does gaming laptops and also makes like these kind of really premium looking Ultrabooks is perhaps Razer, right, with that Razer Book laptop as well, which also looks pretty premium. But I think Asus has been in the game for a while. They've just been really good at making both really nice gaming laptops and really nice premium Ultrabooks like this one, right? All right, so here it is, Asus Zenbook Duo, the laptop of tomorrow. Very, very similar tagline to their to the iteration that I got last year, right? The Zenbook Duo 14, which came out last year. Very, very similar tagline. This upgraded version, you get the ScreenPad Plus, which you expect, right? This is basically the selling point of the Zenbook Duo, is that it has two screens in it. Originally started off with the Zenbook Duo Pro, which has a dedicated graphics card and OLED display, and then the Duo without the Pro. This is the normal line, takes off the OLED screen and doesn't have dedicated graphics, but the price is like, you know, much lower. So that's the reason I chose this one, by the way. But if you guys do want to look at a pretty nice, you know, upgraded version of this, the Zenbook Pro Duo, which is the UX582 model number, I believe, should be coming out later this year, with that OLED display, 15-inch screen, and dedicated graphics. I believe it has the RTX 3070 in it, actually, which might actually be a good deal, because even though it's expensive, the fact that you can't even find a 3070 these days by itself, you might want to consider upgrading to the Pro Duo, right, this year, because I think that's actually pretty nice, right? You get a like nice gaming laptop, dual screens, OLED, 3070, right, and of course the 11th gen Core i processor, which is actually pretty good on a laptop, right? I know the 11th gen Core processors don't do too well on the desktops. I mean, I recently upgraded to an AMD Ryzen chip because the 11th gen is just so disappointing. But on laptops, I think the Core i7 11th gen is actually still pretty good. So Intel is still doing okay in the laptop space, although AMD is also encroaching on that territory as well. So yeah, if you guys are looking for, you know, nice dual screen, premium looking laptop that can also be used for gaming, then and media consumption as well, multitasking obviously with the dual screens, then I think the Zenbook Pro Duo 15 is actually pretty good as well. Anyways, this is the 14-inch model, so you get ScreenPad Plus, right, the selling point of the Zenbook Duo, up to 40% faster CPU performance. So this is not a 15-watt laptop CPU, huh? So after checking it, the Core i7 1165G7 is actually a 28-watt CPU, which for a laptop is pretty good. It's better than a lot of the 15-watt ultra low voltage CPUs, which I initially expected. because that's what a lot of Ultrabooks have. But no, it's a 28-watt CPU, and yeah, that's better than I expected, honestly. Right, a lot of gaming laptops have 40-watt CPUs, so those are going to be the most powerful laptop CPUs. But 1165 G7 is a pretty nice CPU, 28-watt. So definitely a lot beefier than some of the 15-watt ultra low voltage CPUs that you see on those super thin laptops. Then you got a high capacity 70-watt-hour battery, 17 hours of battery life, which is pretty nice. And you get a 93% screen to body ratio, which is very nice. That means you have very, very slim or thin bezels. So very good. And eye protection, which actually Asus does on their monitors as well, right? They give a lot of like eye protection technologies on their monitor, blue light settings, stuff like that. You know, I've used Asus monitors usually, so they have all that technology here as well. Thunderbolt 4, which is pretty nice. I actually don't have any laptops with Thunderbolt 4 currently. This is my first computer with Thunderbolt 4. I usually have Thunderbolt 3, so it's like a slight upgrade over Thunderbolt 3. It's not like a huge upgrade or anything. Stylus support. I wonder if they include a pen as well. If they include a pen, that's a pretty nice deal. And then the Wi-Fi master. Okay, so yeah, that's good. Actually, let's take a look at what's inside the rest of the package first. So you get a charger, your standard typical small brick USB-C charger, which you should come to expect with most premium laptops. Most premium Ultrabooks these days should come with small, nice, nicely portable charger right here. That's a USB-C. So there's that right there, and then this one. Let's see, we got In Search of the Incredible. We got a lot of Asus stuff these days. Actually, my motherboard that I bought recently was an ROG Strix B5550i, which also came with a lot of stuff. The Asus, what I like about them is they make like nice premium quality stuff across the board. They're in so many different areas, right? Motherboards and GPUs and desktop computers, laptop computers, routers. Like, they make a lot of stuff, right? And they're all pretty good generally at all of these things. So it's almost like Sony in that sense. They're just good at a lot of stuff. Okay, what's this one? They give me this mat here. What is this for? It's for propping up the laptop. Is that what it is? Or it's for, you put it on the back of the bottom of the laptop. It looks like you put this on the bottom of the laptop, which should help the airflow or something like that. I'll have to attach this to the laptop to try it out, but it looks like it's some kind of thing that you attach to the bottom of the laptop. And yeah, maybe it's better. I don't know. I'll have to try that out. Yeah, always very nice Asus with the premium packaging and extras. And looks like they did give you a pen. Very nice. Very nice. You know, with other companies like Apple, you have to pay extra for that, but you get that in the box here. Or Microsoft even, right? Microsoft, you got to pay for that too. But with Asus, they include the pen very nicely with the laptop. So this is one button or two buttons here you can use, and this is, I'm guessing, quadruple A battery. Unfortunately, I don't really like using batteries. I prefer if it was rechargeable, but that is what it is. A lot of pens these days do have that. My Porsche Design Book 1 has this kind of pen as well. We have to take in a battery. But that's about it, but it's very nice they included a pen. I actually don't think my HP Dragonfly Elite included one either. So I think the Spectre does. Yeah, the HP Spectre does, but not the Dragonfly. So it's really nice that they include this as a nice value added extra. And I think that is pretty much, yep, that is pretty much it here. It's a decent amount of extras. I mean, the main thing is that pen that you get. But you also get this nice, looks like a laptop stand thing, which I'll have to check out as well. So, anyways, guys, that's what you get in the box. All right, so now let's take a look. Oh yeah, don't forget the sleeve as well. You get the laptop sleeve also included. So very, very nice of Asus to include all these extras. All right, now on to the laptop itself. All right, so this is the new Zenbook Duo, the 2021 version UX482, which should contain an upgrade not only to the CPU and specs, but to the screen as well. Actually, let me go over the specs first. So this version that I got is an Intel Core i7 1165 G7. That is the 11th generation Core i7 processor, 8 gigs of RAM, which I think is soldered. I don't think you can upgrade it. So that's a little bit small. I think maybe 16 gigs would have been better. 512 gigabyte SSD, it's pretty normal. So the graphics is actually the main upgrade of the 11th gen processor, I believe. Intel Iris Xe graphics. I'm going to test that out to see how well it actually plays games and stuff. Obviously, I don't expect it to be like any kind of dedicated graphics performance, but apparently, according to Intel, the Intel Iris Xe graphics should be a pretty good upgrade over the previous generation integrated graphics. So I'm thinking I can probably do some light gaming on this, right? Like probably equivalent to like an NVIDIA MX like 250 or something like that. I'll have to check that out. But these integrated graphics, Intel has hyped up a lot, so I'm going to see how good they are, the Intel Iris Xe. And it weighs 3.5 pounds, which is actually very impressive for a laptop with 2 displays in it. So 3.5 pounds. Also, what's pretty impressive is US military standard 810H certified. So this laptop has been tested to, you know, the temperature, the vibration, shock resistant, should be water resistant as well. But yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that this laptop's military standard 810H. That's with that 2 displays. You know, there's a lot of moving parts in this laptop. You know, a lot of unique premium features, and the fact that they got that in is actually pretty impressive. Because usually when you see military grade certified laptops, like those are usually business laptops, right? The ThinkPads, EliteBooks, Dell Latitudes, those kind of laptops you would expect to be US military standard certified, but I've not seen that too often on a consumer laptop like this one. So that's actually something that's a little bit surprising to me, that they managed to get this 810H certified. And yeah, let's look at the laptop itself. Ooh, ScreenPad Plus, your creativity starts here. And here it is. And you guys have now seen the upgrade, right, of what happened on this laptop compared to the previous generation. So if you guys don't know, you can just see it in action right here. So what's going on is this ScreenPad Plus right here, the second screen, actually lifts up from the keyboard. So this is a design element they took from the Zephyrus Pro Duo 15. That was their premium game laptop that also had dual screens. We did not see that on the previous generation Zenbook Duo. So the previous generation Zenbook Duo was their first kind of really dual screen laptop. That one had a very flat display that was like flat to the keyboard. And then on the Zephyrus Duo, the really expensive, you know, one that I could not afford, they lifted it up from the keyboard to give you a better viewing angle. Now, I don't think this one actually lifts up as much as the Zephyrus Duo does, but still, it's cool that they incorporated this technology downstream into the Zenbook laptops, right? So yeah, now you get a better angle when you're viewing it. And now, actually, you can tell even with this nice thin bezel display, that this second screen here, the ScreenPad Plus, connects to the main display pretty well here. Like it's almost seamless if you look at it from a distance, right? So that's why Asus did this. It's for better viewing angles, and it's a more seamless extension of the main display. So I'm really glad they put this feature onto this laptop, because I was looking at the Asus Zephyrus Duo 15 and I was like, man, I really want that feature, but it's so expensive, right? I can't get that laptop. But this one, I'm glad I actually moved downstream to the Zenbook Pro Duo, which, by the way, is not that expensive. It's only $1,300. So if you're thinking, wow, this technology and stuff must be really, really expensive, it's not. Actually, it's cheaper than a MacBook. It's cheaper than a Razer laptop. It's not like the cheapest laptop, but still, $1,300 for this technology, right? You don't see this technology in any other laptop, right? Asus is the only one that has this kind of technology. $1,300 is pretty good, honestly, for this type of technology, right? I don't see any other manufacturing doing this. I know HP came out with the Omen X2S, but it's not nearly the same thing, right? It's not nearly as good as this, right? Yeah, the full width display here that pops up from the keyboard. I don't see any other laptop maker doing something like this. So very, very unique. $1,300 is pretty good price for this, actually, for this kind of tech. And also considering the fact that it comes with pretty nice specs as well, given the price. So it's not like you'd lose out on too much. I mean, this is a full HD display, 14-inch, so it's not like 4K or anything. But you do get some nice, I think, Pantone validated colors on it. So you get some good color calibration on it. Like I said, the military standard 810H certified, which is usually not cheap. Because if you look at the business laptops, right, those laptops are usually not cheap when they test it to those specs. But apparently Asus can do it on this laptop as well, and the price is not too much higher. So it's not actually, it's much lower than a lot of business laptops even. So it's pretty impressive. And yeah, the keyboard here. So one thing is you lose out on the palm rest here because of this secondary display, which means you will have to type kind of. If you have this on your desk, you probably need a palm rest, or you can just rest your palms on the desk like this and type. But the keyboard is pretty nice. I mean, there's a decent amount of travel. It's definitely not like the Dell Maglev keyboard or the old MacBook Butterfly keyboard, that's for sure. It's definitely more travel. I mean, it's adequate. It's doable. I mean, it's a decent amount of travel and tactile feedback. So I don't think I have anything to really complain about with the keyboard here. It's not the best keyboard. It's not a ThinkPad keyboard, but it's definitely okay. Considering for the premium Ultrabook market, I would say this keyboard is exactly what I would expect when you're buying, like, for example, a Surface laptop. I think if you're looking at some of the more premium Dell XPS laptops, HP Spectre, then this keyboard is pretty much in line with that, which is to say it's pretty good. And then the touchpad or trackpad here is right beside the keyboard, which is something you have to get used to because they have to put this orientation because they lose out on the palm rest, right? So you don't have any touchpad space down there. You have to use it like this. It takes some getting used to, and I kind of understand, just for space saving because they have the screen up here, this is what they have to do. But yeah, it takes some time to get used to. I would say that probably most people using the Zenbook Duo are going to use a mouse anyways, and that's what I would expect. And yeah, I think this is... I remember on the old Zenbook Duo there was a way to actually turn this into a numpad, which would be nice, but I don't think that exists here. It would be nice to have like an alternate thing, to have like a 10-key numpad here. It would be nice. But otherwise, yeah, nothing really missing from the keyboard. This is pretty much what you expect. Inverted T configuration, I actually like this. Right, I don't like the other format where they have the really fat left and right keys, right? Where the left and right keys are actually substantially bigger than the up-down keys. I don't like that. I like the inverted T, so I'm glad they did that here. Yeah, pretty nice feeling. The only thing is I might have to get used to this trackpad, but I'll probably just use a mouse with it. But it's really, really cool that they upgraded the hinge here of this display mechanism. You can see that from the side, right? And it also lifts up the laptop as well. So, right, if you have this laptop like this, you can see that ergonomically, it lifts up from the bottom like that. So you see how it is. And now we can look at the ports as well. So you can see here, sound by Harman Kardon. So it looks like they partnered with Harman Kardon for the sound. I'm not sure if that really adds anything, probably not. That's just kind of branding. A lot of premium Ultrabooks and laptops add this, branded sound, which doesn't really add much. But it's there, which is, yeah, it doesn't hurt. So yeah, you have a USB-A port right here. It's probably 3.1. Then you have a combination headphone microphone jack right there, micro SD card slot, which, is very, very useful. I think these days micro SD is actually more useful than a full SD, right? Because most, phones and everything, you would probably use the micro SD way more than a full SD. And then on this side, you get a full-size HDMI, and then you get the Thunderbolt 4, I'm guessing. Thunderbolt 4 ports right here. So, yeah, connect your Thunderbolt 4 accessories, I guess. I think it's backwards compatible with Thunderbolt 3, so you don't have to worry about losing out on your Thunderbolt 3 docks and everything. You can definitely connect those. So one of these, I think, is for charging as well. So you just plug it in for charging. And that's about it. Just a total of 6 ports. I guess they couldn't fit in more because of the way this laptop is designed, but 6 ports is pretty good for a laptop these days, right? A lot of laptops honestly don't even come with any USB-A ports, right? This one at least comes with a USB-A port, so 6 ports is fine for a laptop these days. A lot of laptops come with less than that. So yeah. And that's pretty much it for my first impressions. Oh, this is definitely a fingerprint magnet. That's one thing about the Zenbooks, is that it looks really nice. Like I said, it looks really, really premium. I really like the color, the celestial blue color. but man, it is a fingerprint magnet, right? You can see the fingerprint smudges already just from handling this laptop a little bit. Yeah, that's one of the drawbacks of having this really nice color and presentation of the laptop, right? So Asus does a really nice job with the aesthetics and everything, but this is just one of the downsides of that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The bottom of it, nothing really special to see. I think it has down-firing speakers. Yeah, if these are down-firing speakers, then yeah, I prefer front-facing speakers. But yes, that is the Asus Zenbook Pro Duo 14 UX482 2021 edition. By the way, guys, the screen resolution of the ScreenPad Plus down here is 1920 by 515, 12.65 inches, and they're both IPS displays. The top one is Full HD, of course, 1920 by 1080. So yeah, those are the two resolutions down there. And also, I found out what that stand is for, by the way, and how it works. So basically, you apply the stand by putting it on the back or the bottom of the laptop, and how it works actually is it's actually pretty interesting. So this is like kind of like a magnetic thing almost. It feels like it's almost magnetic, but yeah, you slide it back like this, and it creates this kind of stand configuration right here, right? So it's basically its own makeshift laptop stand that Asus has given us. So yeah, you can use it like this, and then on top of the already ergonomic hinge design, I think this is meant to add even more. So like, I guess it saves you from buying a laptop stand, right? Most people, you know, would buy a laptop stand if you want more like ergonomic typing configurations or something, or they're using a monitor, then they just get a laptop stand. But this one comes with a built-in. You just apply it to the bottom, then you lift it up like this, and then you just put the laptop like this, and it'll stand up like that. So that's just stand up like that. That's basically how you would use it. So you open up the display, and yeah, it's basically a laptop stand right here. So it's really cool that Asus gives us so many configurations and accessories basically for this laptop. You can choose to use it or not, but I think it's pretty cool. So this is like, you don't even need to buy a laptop stand anymore. If you want to use an external monitor, then you just, you know, put it up like this, or if you want to have a really, you know, upright configuration like this when you're typing, then you have access to that as well, which also I think elevates the secondary screen as well if you're doing like any kind of multitasking. So yeah, that's the kind of makeshift stand that they give you, which is pretty cool. So just flip down, and then it becomes normal. So yeah, that is very, very interesting, and I shall test out the Zenbook Duo and show you guys what I think. Alright, so I've now set this laptop up, and we're going to test it to see how it performs. By the way, guys, if you want to see again the lid action with the hinge, the secondary screen, you can see it here, right? See, there you go. And it's interesting because you can see how it lifts up. The farther back the display goes, the more it lifts up, which is pretty interesting. I think until about here, right? Until about here, and then after that, it doesn't really go up anymore. But that's the limit. But it's cool because it starts off like this. This was the original, the previous generation Zenbook Duo, which is very flat. And then from the Zephyrus Duo, right, they put this technique in of lifting the display. I don't think it actually lifts up as much as the Zephyrus Duo, but still, it goes out to about here. Yeah. And then once you lift up the screen more, it doesn't really go out. I think this is probably the maximum they would expect you to use the screen, right, without, you know, being uncomfortable. So that makes sense. Alright, so I'm going to turn it on, and you guys can see the ScreenPad Plus also booting up as well. One thing I have to mention is that this is Windows Hello enabled, so there you go, we just logged in. Very, very fast. You can see the ScreenPad Plus initializing as well. See, that's all very, very fast actually. That was the boot time. So yeah, you saw the Windows Hello. It is Windows Hello enabled, so you saw the infrared sensor going in. The webcam is just average webcam. I'd say just your typical 720p webcam. But yeah, I forgot to mention that it did have the infrared sensors to log us in. That's why it logged us in really, really fast. So that's very nice. And then the ScreenPad Plus booting up. Forgot to mention that this is also a touchscreen. right? So of course you can use your fingers both on the top and bottom displays. So that's also very convenient to have another input right there. Another thing I have to mention is that when the screen lifts up, or when the ScreenPad Plus lifts up, it also gives more ventilation to these fans right here. So there are some grills right here for the fans and the heat dissipation, which actually helps the laptop performance. So there's another reason why they tilted the screen up, is to help with the ventilation flow as well, which should help performance in theory. So actually what I did here, you can see my wallpaper here, is what I did is I actually made the wallpaper stretch down to the bottom so it becomes one cohesive wallpaper. Try to find like a nice wallpaper I can use to do that. But this one seems to work fairly well, I guess. Yep, there we go. Yep, so we get the taskbar to automatically hide, and then you have pretty much with the screen tilting up down here, an uninterrupted wallpaper going all the way down here, which is very, very nice, right? Try to find a nice wallpaper that does that. Okay. So what can you do with this laptop? As with my previous Asus Zenbook Duo video, I'm only going to show a few things. I'm not going to use the pen. I'm actually not an artist or anything. Of course, you can. This will be good for Photoshop and video editing and things like that. But I don't have an Adobe Premiere subscription either. But those are obvious things you could do with this laptop as well, right? Productivity work and drawing and sketching and stuff like that. So there are a few things down here on the touchpad you could do. So you can adjust the contrast or the brightness separately from the main display. So you can have this be as dim as you want, it can be as bright as you want, independently of the main display. Basically this is just treating this as another display. And then we have an app navigator here. We can rearrange and manage apps between the main display and the ScreenPad Plus. Could be as easy, for example, as if I want to open Spotify, right? So let's go down here. There's Spotify. So this is another common use case. If I'm like listening to music and something like that, I want to do something else on the main display, but I still want to, have my music controls and put them on the bottom display. There's an easy way to do that, right? So I can just, you see the two things that appear here. There's kind of two buttons that appear here, the virtual buttons, where I can move this to. And so there's this one here expands it to the full screen. So if I move it up here, it will automatically expand to the full screen. And you see the controls down here at the bottom too. So this will actually expand out to the ScreenPad Plus as well. You can reposition the taskbar. Okay, got it. So yeah, that will expand out to the entire two displays, right? And try to fill them both if you do that. And then the other one here just puts it down at the bottom. So that's all it does. So this one puts it down at the bottom. So if you want to use the main display for something else, that's a quick way to do that as well. So those are the two shortcuts I would say when you're moving this. You can either expand it to both screens or to fill them both, or you can just have it on one display. So I'm going to keep it down at the bottom here. If I want to play music or something like that, I can do that. By the way, this is the speakers, turn up to full. So the Harman Kardon speakers, you guys can hear how that sounds like. It's alright. It's down firing, I don't really like down firing all that much, but would rather prefer front facing speakers, but anyways, or forward firing speakers, but yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's a bit better than the Bang & Olufsen speakers I have in my HP Dragonfire Elite, but that's not really saying much. But yeah, it's good, good enough. So yeah, that's one of the use cases I would have, is playing music down here, doing something else up there. And what else we could do? We could pair our phone with the ScreenPad Plus, so you can link it with the My Asus app. So you can make a phone call from this, or do a phone mirroring, so you can actually mirror your phone down here, which is really cool, right? Because obviously we do a lot of things using our phone. So having this be a secondary display for our phone that's pretty awesome as well. And then doing our computer tasks at the same time. You can lock the keyboard. I don't know why you would do that, but you have that option here. So what we can do here is this one just goes back to the desktop. I guess it just shows the desktop. So then we can also access some apps that Asus has pre-installed here. There's a handwriting app. So yeah, that will appear here, and then you can put your handwriting here. Again, I'm not using a pen, right? You could use the included pen, but you need I don't have the batteries for it. But yeah, put handwriting here. Of course, you're gonna put your own custom apps down here. If you have some kind of drawing program, right, you can also use it, put it down here or up here. It's touchscreen, right? And you can use the pen with it. So I think this is really good for creativity people, right? People who are focused on making art and drawing, stuff like that. This is very, very nice, right? You have 2 displays where you can draw. This is a calculator. Pretty simple, right? And I often do calculations, so I think having a calculator here is very useful. Like, say you have your finances up, your your tax software, your stock software, whatever have you can use your calculator down here, and it's very, very useful because I often have to switch on my main computer to the calculator whenever I'm calculating something, right? I have to do some calculations and compute something. I have to switch back and forth between the calculator and my finance apps. This one you just have the calculator down here, so that's, yeah, it's very useful. What else do we have? App deals. What is this? Some kind of... Not really sure what this is. Then we have my Asus system diagnostics. Okay, so that's what that is. Spotify, which we already saw. Then we have Corel Multicam, which is some kind of streaming software, I think. So I think this is for streaming. So, oh, here I am. Okay, so yeah, I guess you can add some source, you can do some recordings and stuff. I think this is meant for streaming, so that's another use case people have for this, is if you're gaming. Of course, it's not a dedicated graphics, but it has Thunderbolt 4 though, so you could link up an external GPU in theory. And yeah, you could just have some streaming software down here. If you're like streaming to Twitch or something like that, then you can have something down here. So that's pretty useful for YouTubers and streamers, I guess. And yeah, let's actually play a game and see what kind of FPS that we can get. I'm actually curious. So, okay, I'm actually going to have my BattleNet launcher down here. So put it down here. Okay. There. Then, I'm going to open Fraps so we can see our FPS. By the way, guys, 8 gigs of RAM is, that's a little bit anemic for something that's, that's meant for multitasking. I really wish that Asus could have sold this model with 16 gigs of RAM, right? They pair up Core i7 with 1165 G7. It's a pretty powerful 28-watt CPU, but they have 8 gigs of memory, which to me is like kind of really barely the minimum. But for a multitasking machine like this, they really should have started the minimum at 16 gigs. And who cares? Raise the price a little bit, but I would rather have 16 gigs on something like this, just, because it's meant for multitasking. So it's a little bit disappointing. All right, and let's start Overwatch. Let's play it. All right, so I'm gonna have the main Overwatch game down here, and then the BattleNet launcher down here, where I can actually like chat with friends and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. All right, so I connected to the mouse. You need a mouse to play this, of course. See, we're still getting solid 60 FPS in the menu, but let's see what happens when we actually play a game. Let's see. Let's do, okay. Maybe I'll be a tank. Right there. How good is this computer for gaming, given that it doesn't have dedicated graphics, is using the integrated RSXC, and to be fair, I'm using a game that doesn't require too much. Like, I'm not going to run Red Dead Redemption 2 on this or anything, or Cyberpunk 2077. It's not going to, because I know it's not going to do well in those games. But just for the more like typical competitive games that don't require too much, like a lot of Blizzard games or Fortnite, those kind of games, I want to see how well it plays. So that's why I chose Overwatch. Sure, let's do
5, 4, 3,
Justice will be done.
1.
Ooh. Okay, so getting 40, 50 FPS. I'm not going to play well because I'm just mostly focused on testing. So it goes from, you could drop as low as 30 FPS, I would say. Yeah. It could be as low as 30 FPS and as high as 60. So that's pretty big variation depending on how much action is going on. Or it's even as high as 70, I think. I saw that before. Yeah, 70 FPS. Really a lot of variation, of course, depends on Depends on how much action is going on the screen. But I would say if there's a lot of action on the screen, yeah, probably 30s to 40s FPS on Overwatch is what I'm seeing, and this is of course not full HD. Yeah, I've not played this in such a long time. I'll take you down. I pushed her down. Okay, that was actually pretty epic. Look at that. Alright. Anyways, not gonna embarrass myself even more.
This is my jam.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do, just to play for a little bit and see what happens. So yeah, 30 FPS, probably when there's a lot of action going on the screen. You can go as high as 60 to 70 when there's not as much action on the screen. So that's for Overwatch at 1080 on high settings. So yeah, I say it's okay for gaming, for the casual games. I wouldn't say it's competitive. Like, you know, you're obviously not going to get like 120 FPS or something like that. So it's not like a competitive type of gaming. But if you're doing like casual gaming, you know, if you're playing Diablo, StarCraft, Hearthstone, like all these Blizzard games, yeah, it's totally fine for those. And obviously not really good for the big budget AAA titles. Cyberpunk 2077, don't try to play that on this one. Red Dead Redemption 2, don't try to play those. Yeah, those are going to require a lot more. But yeah, for the casual gamers here, or, you know, yeah, non-competitive gaming, I think it works fine. League of Legends obviously will work very well. Yeah, pretty decently high FPS, and definitely an improvement over the previous generation Intel integrated graphics. So that's it, guys. That's the Asus Zenbook Duo UX482, the new 2021 model. What do you guys think? So I think this is a pretty decent deal for the price. You're talking about $1,300 for a laptop that's really not like any other laptop out there. I mean, if you want dual displays, Asus is pretty much the only company that makes this, right? I don't know why other companies haven't tried this, but Asus is the only company that makes this, and this is the cheapest version of it, right? You had to pay a lot more if you want the Zephyrus Pro Duo or if you want the Zenbook Pro Duo. So this is the best entry point. $1,300, not too expensive. I think that's a fair price to pay for this kind of technology. And oh yeah, the screen is pretty nicely calibrated by Pantone, so it's Pantone certified. So you don't need to deal with any kind of colorimeters to calibrate that. It's already done. And yeah, typical IPS display, so good viewing angles, and the bezels are really thin, as you can see. So yeah, I think overall it's a pretty nice display. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good deal. And Asus also includes a lot of stuff in the box as well. Nice vinyl type of laptop sleeve. The pen is included. Even the laptop stand is included. So yeah, a lot of nice extra accessories and just a very unique type of computer, right? See that secondary screen lifting up. It's really good for multitasking, good for creativity, production, although I'm not sure how well this would handle like a big budget like film production tasks, like using Premiere or something like that. I don't think it will handle it as well as the desktop. You know, just use the Ryzen for that. But I think, you know, just for basic stuff, if you're making like a small movie or something like that, a small YouTube video, it might be okay. Also, if you want to upgrade to the Asus Zenbook Pro Duo, the UX582, I think that's also a pretty nice deal as well, even though it's $3,000, because you have to consider the fact that it has dual OLED displays, 15-inch screen, and it has the RTX 3070 in it, which is a very hard to find graphics card by itself, and a lot more powerful, obviously, than this laptop. So even at $3,000, I would say that's actually not too bad. So if you guys want the OLED displays, you know, and having the RTX 3070 having a lot more power, obviously you can do a lot more gaming on that one as well, and, you know, productivity work and stuff like that. I would say if you want to go for the the Pro Duo 15, then that's actually a pretty nice deal as well. It's not too bad, even though it's pretty expensive. But you have to consider the specs for what you get and how unique it is. It's actually a fair price. So yeah, I mean, at least it's not as bad as some of the other gaming laptops or even some of the older MacBooks and stuff like that. Like those were way more overpriced than the Asus Zenbook Pro Duos were. So anyways, that's just my opinion on that. I think this was a good pickup for people just, you know, wanting some basic multitasking. But if you want to do like heavy gaming or heavy multitasking, then the Pro Duo 15 or even the Zephyrus Duo 15 would probably be the way to go. So That's it, guys. Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.